Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 28 of the Main Stand podcast. I'm here as usual with my friends Mitch and Pat. Here to chop it up. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We have some Champions League stuff to go over. MLS is starting off this week. Some big Premier League fixtures as the run-in kind of approaches here in the spring. How are you doing, fellas, today?
I'm doing fantastic soccer-wise.
I'm tired.
Football-wise, life is good.
I'm tired. I'm tired of all of it.
Yeah, the vibes seem a little off today, kind of. We don't have to get too much into geopolitics or anything, but
yeah,
the vibes are just tough. We're recording this on Thursday night. So the first thing I actually have to talk about here on the right side, this isn't necessarily in our notes. I kind of want to dive into this, right off. The UCL final already being moved from St. Petersburg. Do you guys have any favorites on, where you'd like to see that moved?
I have no favorites. I just want it to be in a place that is a little less wild card right now. Yeah, take it the fuck out. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that first just because I want to also kind of shout out all the players and teams who kind of, were brave and, took a stand today in the afternoon. European games, Napoli and Barcelona having their banner pregame. And I'm gonna butcher the guy's name for Atalanta, but I know his first name is Ruslan, I believe. Scored a goal and lifted up his shirt with the shirt under it that said "No war in Ukraine." That's pretty brave stuff. And we talk about sport a lot, and like Jurgen Klopp kind of dubs soccer as the most important, unimportant thing in our lives. I think like times like this, football really does like encapsulate what's going on in history and some big moments, and definitely, stuff like that sends inspiration to people, across the world.
Yeah, shouts out Smolov too, being the first Russian player to make a statement about it as well. Thoughts go out to everybody in Ukraine that's affected by this. I can't wrap my head around something like this happening. Don't want to get, like Josh mentioned, with this is a soccer podcast. We don't really get into politics here, but it just feels like a good time to just say, our thoughts are with them for sure. And, hopefully this it just becomes less of a thing than initially thought of. Just hope everything works out in the best way it possibly can.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you can do right now is wish for the best, especially for, all the Ukrainian players we can think of off the top of our heads.
I love Zinchenko.
Exactly. A lot of good players around the world, and just anyone in general. You got to T's and P's for them over there in Europe.
Absolutely.
T's and P's for Rick.
Yeah. Rick's picks didn't do great last week. I'll kind of run through. I went 3 for 11. There were some really odd ones I got screwed on. Like Arsenal, Arsenal Brentford last week. I got the Saka to score prop, and that was plus 200. So I had some good ones that kind of made up for the losses. But like the under 2.5 got smashed at the end in like the 93rd minute by Norgard. West Ham Newcastle, that had a third goal written all over it. I thought that one was pretty unlucky. Liverpool Norwich, deflected goal was what ruined that clean sheet and the spread for me. So I think we were right on the verge of kind of hitting on a few of those, but at the end of the day, it's a tough week. Like I said, we hit on a couple, the Saka to score and Spurs City over 3.5 that had like plus 200 odds, so those made up for a couple of the picks we lost on, but we move and we'll do better this week.
Yeah, you got to remember, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, so
it's fair, but the vibes are up. I do one thing if we were completely off. When you're completely off and you just read a game wrong, it sucks, but I think we were on the right track.
Yeah, we were right there in it.
That's good. Yeah, we'll take it. Good.
You want to talk some more about that Liverpool Norwich game?
Yeah, it was an awesome game to watch from a neutral point of view. Norwich gets the goals. Kind of the first half was kind of wonky. Norwich gets that first goal, and then like Liverpool wakes up. It's the second game in a row where Klopp makes really, really impactful changes, like with 30 minutes to go, and that's pretty unusual for him. I think it kind of shows like the depth in this Liverpool team and the confidence he has on the guys on the bench. Just some really, really massive performances from guys like Thiago, Luis Diaz grabbing his first goal, and then I don't even have to talk about Mo Salah. That Alisson pass was kind of like the highlight of the game for me. It was just magical. He's like incredible.
Very reminiscent of the assist against United.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a shaky game, and when Norwich netted the deflected goal, Klopp did what Klopp does. He made those changes, and it turned the game right around. Henderson, what a pass to assist Diaz there. I think Hendo coming on late in these games has been our biggest asset. It's been amazing to see our captain coming off the bench as regularly as he has lately, and still standing there and making an impact. We saw it against Leeds as well. So just my shouts there for a big 3 points against, unfortunately, Norwich.
And we might as well too, Mitch, before we get
3 points.
Before we get into anywhere else, we might as well, because we don't have it in the notes, might as well touch on the Leeds game, 6-0.
Yep.
Just absolutely, curb stomped Leeds. It wasn't even competitive for most of the game. Rafinha had that offsides chance, and there was that Dan James chance, I guess, at the beginning as well. But aside from that, it was just a nice, clean win from Liverpool.
Barn burner. It looked like our 1920 side.
I think this team's better than our 1920 side.
No, I'm talking just in the sense that it was fun.
Yeah.
It was us firing on all cylinders. The Joel baby giraffe run, like he was everywhere. It was really cool to see our defenders making these long darting runs that we haven't really seen in a while. Just the passing was the best I've seen all season from our side. Just knew where to go, where to be, and where to send the ball, start to finish. It was our cleanest 3 points all year, in my opinion.
It's so easy to do that too against a Leeds side that mark man to man for most of the game. And when they do
and
that,
have a really good press.
Yeah, and Matip makes those runs through. They don't necessarily know who to pick up, especially in the midfield. Even there's that one where Struich, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I might be butchering that. He completely got lost on that Matip goal. So that we were definitely just pulling him out, kind of, and that's what Leeds have kind of been doing all year. That's why their defense has been so shocking at times. I'm starting to wonder, though, if Bielsa, I know he's so adored by that club and the fans, if his time is running out a little bit at Elland Road, just because he's so hard-headed and he doesn't seem to have any intention of moving from that setup.
Yeah, that's something I kind of wanted to touch on. It's all well and good to talk about how great Liverpool are. Beating Leeds 7-0 at home isn't for anybody, only the select few. Anyway, but just on the topic of Leeds in general, their last 4 games, they have conceded 3 goals, 4 goals, and 6 goals. They have a negative 27 goal differential, and they only sit 3 points from safety right now. Very exciting side going forward. But like you mentioned, Josh, Bielsa's a little hard-headed, and I know he's adored by the faithful people at Leeds, but do you think that there is any fear of him getting sacked should Leeds, drop? It's not crazy to say that in their last 13 games, Leeds are going to lose 2 more. And if they lose 2 more games and someone and Burnley win a game, Burnley they jump ahead of them on goal differential, and Leeds are in the threat of relegation. So I think that Bielsa needs to take a look in the mirror. Not every team can play expansive ball like that, and as much as I hate talking about teams needing to be a little bit more defensive minded, I think bare minimum Bielsa needs to start adjusting his tactics to suit his personnel, or they're getting fucking relegated.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how close the fans are. Money talks, and staying in the Premier League is a $100-200 million contract, and if you can't write that, you're going to get sacked.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it was really evident against Liverpool. They, for the entire 90, continued to try and play out of the back. They continued to look shaky defensively. and it ate them alive. There was no change to the shape. There was no change to the style of play. They made one swap. It was a straight swap. It didn't add anything to what they were trying to do, and it bit them in the ass. It, it was just clear as day that there was no communication or no attempt to try and change shape or do something different in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just think something's got to give there, man. As much as I love teams going out and playing, Leeds just suck.
Yeah, for sure. Do we want to talk about the fun one in the afternoon?
Let's talk about the fun one.
Dun dun.
Yeah, I am sick and tired of Tottenham. I am just fucking 17 games unbeaten. Tottenham hadn't won a game in their last 3. It looked like shit against every team they play. And then they go and play a fucking Champions League final against City. Conte has Pep's number for whatever fucking reason. A. B. This Spurs team becomes one of the only teams next to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Man United and Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool to beat City twice in a fucking season. I am just at a loss for words. Tottenham go and lose 1-0 to Burnley a week later, but they literally play like everybody's families are going to be murdered if they don't walk out of the Etihad with 3 points. And I'm very, very prepared for them to go to Anfield in a month and roll over. You're going to beat them 6-0 because that's just how it works. Unfortunate dropping of the points. I don't think it was crazy to say that before that game, City were going to win. Harry Kane had a really good game. I was super, super impressed with Kalevsky for Spurs. I think
Kalevsky had a fucking beautiful game.
He's actually going to be a good signing for them. Bentancur was a midfielder. He existed first start. Lloris stood on his head.
I'm Lloris.
I didn't think City really looked like awful. I think that was a game that, it was really evident that we needed a striker. It's one of those games that you could use a center forward in. We whipped in like 28 crosses and there's not a striker on our team over 5'9".
Yeah, that's
tough. A little bit of an issue there. Mahrez scores a good pen. Kane scores in the 95th minute. We move. Every City loss is usually accompanied by 14 games unbeaten, so I'm not worried yet. If we lose to Everton this weekend, then I'm worried that the title might be problematic. We have City have a slightly easier run the last half of the season compared to Liverpool. So, I'm just praying Mikel Arteta might be able to do me a favor. But outside of that, we got a title race, boys. We got a fucking title race.
We do have a race.
For this back season.
I don't want to brag because I did go 3 for 11 this week, but I couldn't have called this game more down the middle. They're more like a triple bogey team for you. You're dropping more than 1 point this year.
I just think that's an absurd. You just took a shot in the fucking dark.
No, Tottenham are your bogey team. I had stats to back it up last week. You haven't beat
our bogey team when we go to Tottenham, and it's not crazy to say. It was crazy to say that a City team unbeaten in 18, we're gonna drop points to this Tottenham side.
Oh yeah, but you've only
it's
beat
more
Tottenham
absurd
2
than me
out of the
saying,
last 6 games.
All right.
It's more absurd than me saying Fiorentina are going to finish top 6, and we'll get to what the Violas have done a little bit later in the show. But I think the only thing that I feel like I was stripped of is fully celebrating that Tottenham win. Because I fell super, super hard in my driveway the day before and ruined both of my knees. So I was stuck to my chair and I hobbled over to the TV. I watched it with Pat at a buddy's house, and no, just it feels so exciting that 9 points has become 3. Liverpool with the win at Leeds take over on goal differential. So it's going to be back and forth. We're going to be on the edges of our seats all the remaining rest of the season.
Don't take over anything. You're still 3 points behind City.
Legitimately, Pat, are you starting to get a little bit nervous?
Now, if we lose to Everton or we drop points against Everton, then I'll be nervous. But the City team that, again, this is the third season in a row where they are very good at just going on unbeaten runs.
Yes, they are.
We had to go on an unbeaten run in 18-19. We won 16 games in a row. I'm not super concerned. Shit happens, dude. Not yet. I'm not scared yet.
So I will say one thing about unbeaten versus a winning streak. So I think that is one thing City has going for them in the second half of the season is that, Liverpool have going for them is that City draw more games than Liverpool does.
You're a crackhead. That's not true at all.
I don't think, yeah.
Is that not the statistic right now? Am I looking at that crazy, and is my sinus infection eating me alive?
We have 3 draws. You have 6.
Yeah.
Okay. I flipped it in my head. I apologize.
City don't draw games. City win games or they lose games.
Yeah, that was definitely sinus infection taking over. Fever is at 100.
Yeah, that's the reason we're ahead of you. Is we have 2 more wins.
2 more.
Liverpool.
2 more. Right. Yeah. I wasn't talking about the wins. I was talking about the draws, but I was wrong. So we move.
I don't know.
More points. What do we have more than Liverpool wins?
3 more points.
It's
going to be a fucking hell of a.
I can't wait.
Run into the season.
Really, really fun last 12 games.
It's going to be banter. Just
the run-ins are there's like this. There's like this 5-game stretch right now. I think is Liverpool's best chance to catch City. You only have 1 tough game. We have, and including the game in April against City, but City have a derby, 2 not super easy away games, except Burnley. We're gonna shit on Burnley when we go to Turf Moor. But we have like we have Brighton away, which
that's not an easy game.
Yeah, exactly. We have Brighton away. We have Liverpool, and then we have the home leg of the derby, the home derby at the Etihad against United. But they don't have Ole at the helm anymore, so that curse is broken. So we can beat them now.
Ole is not at the wheel.
It's gonna be a great end of the season. That City Liverpool game is gonna absolutely smash TV records, both in Europe and America. And
yeah, we thought that first game was a fucking barn burner of a draw. Like this one's gonna be tenfold that.
Yeah, it's gonna be electric. I hope there's no injuries or anything going into that game too. I want the most fit sides we can possibly get going into that April fixture.
For sure. While we'll stick to the Premier League here. You guys want to talk about Antonio Conte for just a quick second? What's going on with him? Is he gonna last at Tottenham?
I think Tottenham ages everybody about 30 years when they take that job.
That's a question for Farwell.
I don't know what their problem is. Like this 5-game stretch is a perfect example of how they have played the past like 3-4 years. Even before Conte, it was the same thing under Mourinho too. Even a little bit when Pochettino was their coach. They get up for the big games, but they just can't win the games they're supposed to. They go and play 90 minutes of the best football ever that they've played all season at the Etihad. They beat the reigning champions 3-2 in an electric game away from home. And then they lose 1-0 to fucking Burnley. Is it a management thing? Is it a players thing? Is it just like a Tottenham? Is it a club mentality thing that's just like stuck in these players' heads and they just can't get past some mental block to string together wins against these bad sides? Like, what is it?
When you've consecutively had Poch, Jose, and now Conte as your successive managers, I don't think it's anything to do. I guess throw Nuno in there as well for the 4 weeks he was in charge. I don't think you can blame it on the manager. It has to come down to the players at some point, and Daniel Levy. I don't think there's been good enough investment in Tottenham. I know people can go on about what he's done for the club elsewhere at the stadium and making it a brand, worldwide. That doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day when you're not, putting those 3 points up on the board. And I think Conte is the first person to really call him out on their bullshit. And he's like being honest in front of the press, saying he's not happy, that it's not like a managerial thing, that it just keeps happening, and that the Tottenham board have to realize that. It's like Tottenham just they keep trying to promote from within in terms of talent, and Conte wants to go out and buy people on the transfer market, and there's just a clear difference in philosophy there.
Man, if only they had sold a certain striker for $100 million this summer, and they would have had money to make Conte happy.
I sound like an absolute dickhead saying this because he just scored a huge goal at the weekend, but do you think that's going to be like a Coutinho thing where they get better after he leaves?
Kane?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that like he might be part of the issue. Like I think there's an environment around that dressing room where some of those guys don't want to be there.
I think Kane is a phenomenal player, but at the end of the day, if he doesn't leave Tottenham, what the fuck was it for? What the fuck did he go? What's he, seventh? And not seventh because he's not ahead of Aguero in Premier League scoring, but he's top 10, right? He's already
he's up
top
there.
10, very close to the top 10 in Premier League goals scored, appearances out the ass, tons of England caps. England captain, hasn't won a fucking trophy in his whole career. He's almost 30. What is his career going to, at the end of the day, what's it all going to be for? If he hasn't won anything. He won an Audi Cup preseason trophy with Tottenham, and that's it. What's it for if he doesn't force a move out of that club and go win something?
Yeah, it's tough. I can only hope to be there for the day when Sonny realizes it's time to go, because I want to swoop him up so fucking fast.
I wanted City to replace Sane with him when he left.
So good. He's such a class individual too, like as a human being. I don't know who wouldn't want him on their team.
And he looked phenomenal in that game against City. Like they were just feeding balls down the wing to him all day.
Really, I thought Zalewski and Kane, those were my two men of the match.
Right, but that's where they were. I'm saying, like that's where the direction of they're playing through Son. They were launching balls up the wing, up the left side, and Kane and Kulikevsky were able to open up and make plays, whip the ball in and give options for Son to spread it. I think Son is 100% their best player right now. Kane just stood on his head that one game because maybe he wanted to prove a point. I don't know, but
what point? Yes, thanks for trying to buy me.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you. He is currently 7th all time with 173 goals.
Okay,
so he's two behind Thierry Henry.
Aguero's 5th.
Aguero's 4th with 184.
184, right? He passed Rooney at 183, or Lampard at 183.
Lampard. He passed Lampard at 177.
But Aguero's got 184, right?
Yes.
Okay. I knew he had 184. I just forgot where he was.
Yeah. Are Shearer and Lineker above both of them?
Top 5, Shearer 260, Rooney 208, Andy Cole 187, Aguero 184, Lampard 177.
Where the fuck did I pull Lineker from? Why did I think he was so high? Is he in the top 10?
No.
Really?
Well, he played at Barca for a while, too.
Shit. Yeah, you're right. No.
He played a super long time in the Prem.
After Lampard, it's Henry, Kane, Fowler, Defoe, Michael Owen.
Fowler being up there is funny. Such a long career. Yeah, that's nuts. Harry Kane definitely is. It's going to be one to look out for. And Pat, I think you're completely right. He is one of those players that just his career has kind of drifted away right in front of our eyes. And Tottenham were always it just seemed right close enough to make a challenge at something. Especially even a couple years ago. I mean, Champions League final, the biggest game of them all. And he just never has quite got over the line. Yeah.
Should have been City. We lost to a fucking elbow. Lost to an elbow.
We all wish.
Harry Kane has weird wrists. That's a hill I will always die on.
The last point with the Prem, top 4 race. Really looking good. Arsenal. I watched the Arsenal-Wolves game, kind of the highlights of it after it ended. Looked like a cracking match. Lacazette winning it at the end against a tough, gritty Wolves team, too. Wolves took the early lead, and Jose Sa with kind of the surprising mishap in net for that second Arsenal goal. Huge win for Arsenal, and they look to kind of be going back and forth with Man United. Arsenal's in 4th place right now, but Man United, I think, is just a couple points back of them. So
No, United's right now in 4th.
Is United in 4th?
With 46 points. Arsenal are in 5th with 45 and 2 games in hand.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm backing Arsenal to take that 4th spot.
Yeah.
It just feels like United don't have the best squad to get it. I just Arsenal just feel like they have something this season, man. Arteta's finally starting to figure it out, I think.
And I think the thing for Arsenal that they have going for them right now is their full focus is on the Premier League now.
Yep.
So
no competitions too.
They're going to get
no other
rocked in the Champions League next year.
Yes. Unless they go out and get some crazy depth, which is definitely not going to happen. I would rather see Arsenal finish 5th just for the health of their club. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Arteta wants to go out and establish himself and go to that next level of European competition. But it's just, I don't think it's worth it right now for them. They're so young. They're still gelling together, and they don't have any depth. 1-2 pieces fall with an injury, they're cooked.
On counterpoint, though, Champions League does get you a little bit of extra money and getting back in that 4th place spot. It might be the tipping point to get Arsenal those couple of players they really need to solidify the squad, get them like a real defensive midfielder and a real striker with that Champions League TV money.
Kroenke needs that money for the Rams cap, man. He ain't spending that on Arsenal.
They did win the Super Bowl. Not Arsenal are fucked.
Just throw Matt Turner at CDM. You'll be all set.
Yeah. I don't know. Arsenal defense still bugs me out. I talked about it when they played Liverpool the last time. It was the last time Justin was on when I kind of made fun of Ben White and Gabriel. They fucked up against Liverpool, and they fucked up today. Gabriel had a nightmare and was the main responsibility for the first goal from Wolves. Did one of those things where the Nuno Tevez one in the Liverpool game where he just turned around and made a blind pass to the goalie and it was intercepted. Hwang Hee-chan was there and just tucked it away. They continue to be a calamity at the back, and it doesn't really matter who Arsenal buys. It just seems like their defense just can't work. But I think that's kind of our Premier League wrap-up for the week, if you guys didn't have anything else.
It was a wild week. Yeah, no, I don't have anything else to add for the week we just had.
My last note is I think Salabia coming back next season will help Arsenal.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they've loaned him out, man. He's been doing pretty good in Ligue
1. They, like you said, they need money for the Rams cap, dude. They needed to loan out somebody. They needed a little extra money for the LA Rams, and they won a Super Bowl.
We'll switch gears here and dig into Europe. Some Champions League stuff. Kind of some dry games and others a little bit more exciting this week. I'm not super in love with these matchups. Me and Pat we all talked about Chelsea and Lille last week being kind of a boring one. Chelsea won that pretty easily, 2-0. I
think I hit that scoreline on the head, didn't I?
Yeah, I think you did. I think me and Pat did talk about this. It was the episode Mitch had his wisdom teeth out. I think we might have talked about it early.
Which I'm now having a fucking sinus infection from.
It's brutal.
I am down bad.
Yeah, the Chelsea one, I think we all saw Chelsea going through there, especially, coming off that Champions League victory last year. Villarreal and Juventus, that one went 1-1. Vlahovic got a really early goal in that one, his first Champions League goal, and Villarreal kind of tied it up late there. Big storyline from that one's Weston McKennie's injury. He got a fractured foot in that. It looks like he's going to be out for 2 to 3 months, and he's going to miss the World Cup qualifier, which includes a game against Mexico at the Azteca.
I want to scream.
Right when he was going into a good bit of form too. He has looked great the past few months.
Both for club and country.
Yep. So that's a tough one.
It's just heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. But a foot fracture is better than a lot of other injuries that soccer players see. So you know, he'll get the walking boot. He'll go through his physical therapy and be back in 8 to 10 weeks. So
yeah, we'll cross our fingers he comes back and makes it seem like nothing changed. A little bit more of an exciting one, Benfica Ajax. That one finished 2-2, another draw. This is going to be a really exciting second leg, in my opinion. Hilaire was on the goal sheet for both teams with an own goal, and he got the go-ahead, I believe, right afterwards and made up for it. Yeah. I think Ajax will win this one eventually, but
that game was really good. Yeah. I don't know if either of you guys saw the video that Ajax and Benfica did on social media, just talking about like the history.
It was really good. The chess one.
Yeah, that was so fucking cool. Mitch, if you haven't seen it, go on either Ajax or Benfica's Instagram. I think they did like a co-branded post. It's on both of their pages. It's so cool. It's these two dudes playing chess against each other, and every move they make, they like name a different piece of history about their club, and like it's so cool. It gets to the end, and the Benfica player like moves his piece, and he hits the time clock for the chess thing, and he's like Eusebio, and then the Ajax player moves his last piece, and he goes Johan Cruyff, and he hits the thing, and then they shake hands, and it ends. But it's so fucking cool, and just like the history behind the two clubs. I was talking to our buddy Roman. Shout out Roman. He's been DMing like mad about footy lately. And just pointing out the fact that like it really is two of like the best academies in recent years too. Like they've just produced like so much talent in these past couple of years has come out of these two sides, and they have like historically two of the best players ever. Like some of the greatest players to grace the game have come out of these two clubs too. It's just a really cool little thing that
yeah. And I'm sure all your marketing tingles started going when you saw that. You're like, brilliant.
It was fucking awesome.
Like, these people, they know what they're doing.
Someone give the fucking guy that made this idea praise. Damn it.
Yeah, it was a great video, and it's kind of two clubs that they might not be the most I guess storied in terms of big trophies. I think that was obviously more in the 80s and everything. Both of them are really big. But definitely two of like the biggest clubs in Europe, like in their respective countries. They're just huge. Especially Ajax. I mean, the thing about Ajax's logo with the 3 stars, how each one represents 10 league titles, is fucking insane.
That Benfica pointed out that they too have 3 stars because they also have 30 league titles.
Pat paid attention on this video.
It was so well done, dude. I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
I need to go watch this when we're done recording.
It was good. It was so cool. Just shout out the marketing team for both of those clubs. It was fucking awesome.
And the last one here, as you can see on the graphic, we have Man United and Atletico 1-1. João Felix with a fucking stunner of a header earlier in the match. And who grabbed the goal for Man United? I'm sure. It was a long Champions League debut.
Elanga did, yeah.
He hasn't really impressed me too much.
Yeah, it was a really well taken goal, but also what the fuck was Oblak doing?
Yeah,
he was so far out of position. It was insane.
He's like sat down. Yeah, congrats. Shout out Elanga. Great goal for the kid. This one's kind of tough to call now. 1-1 going in back to Old Trafford. Also, I think it's really funny that everybody thought the Champions League anthem was going to turn on and Ronaldo was magically going to stop playing like shit 80% of the time.
That was literally the whole conversation was Ronaldo on his way to put the dagger in Atletico again because he played in La Liga and he did it all the time.
He did it in the Champions League too with Real Madrid, to be fair, but this United team is dog shit and Ronaldo's not very good anymore. So
yes, it was very evident that Ronaldo is not the Atletico killer as he has previously been in this game.
Yeah,
I think this one would have been easier to call for Man United if away goals was still a thing. I think that would have gave them a pretty nice advantage. I do not see them holding this in England. I think Atletico definitely take it.
Have you noticed that a lot of sides have kind of stopped? I mean, to kind of counter what you mentioned about Madrid and PSG, Josh, a lot of second legs today, Europa League second legs, just move on to that. But a lot of Europa League second legs today were high scoring because there weren't away goals. So these teams, these draws knew they had to win the game to go through. So, just to make a point to, go back to what you were talking about, it looks like getting rid of these away goals is making these teams that draw 1-1, they go to the second leg and they're like, they can't sit on an away goal in the return legs anymore. They still have to go out and play to win. So there were a ton of games that were like 2-1, 2-3, 2-all. The fucking Barcelona-Napoli game was 4-2.
Yeah, that one's insane. I think we texted about in the group chat about it. Is this Barca team better than we anticipated?
Yeah, I don't think we gave him enough credit.
Aubameyang's he scored a hat trick at the weekend, another goal.
He scored a really, really good goal today. Barca looked incredible. Just we want to chat about Europa League for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to. I was going to bring it up.
Adama hasn't been bad either, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, Napoli didn't look the best, but Adama's been good. Fucking asshole. Frank the match today, scored a phenomenal goal. He was absolutely everywhere. He was really good. Serginho Dest looked good too.
That's good.
USA. Yeah, they look like a really, really solid side out there. Aubameyang and Adama look very good. They look right at home. Ferran Torres looked like he did for City. Raw. He'll get there, I think, but he doesn't look as refined as the rest of the guys in that front three. But Aubameyang looked deadly. Adama literally was their best forward today.
Yeah.
Dick.
That's a tough one. I went on a pretty big Adama tear when he went to Barcelona, and I am having to eat dirt about it. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure he had 2 assists today.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah, he's looked good. And then the other game, Rangers fucking murdered.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call it murder. The game finishes 2-2, but Rangers solidified their place in the next round.
6-4 in aggregate, though.
The first leg was the murder. This was just cleaning up the evidence. Rangers being able to knock a team like Dortmund out of the Europa League is not a sentence we should be having to say to begin with. But it's happened. Rangers finished the second leg and knocked them out 6-4.
Big testament to Steven Gerrard and the players he brought in to kind of form that team.
He absolutely put a very strong base down, and it's on full display now in European competition, which is great to see. I'm kind of sad because I just learned something about our kind of like European ballerina story or like the Hollywood Sheriff. Yeah, so Sheriff is from a made up territory for those of you who do not know. They're part of a piece of, I believe it's the Asian side of Russia, but it was a territory that like formed when the Russian regime started forming and like the USSR was falling, and like what we know it as, and it's just like this independent territory within the state, and they don't have a lot of visitors, there's no tourism, but they have Sheriff Tiraspol.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing 3-2 to Braga today in penalties. So they almost were able to continue their European dream. But like it got me thinking, how the hell are they even recognized if it's not like an actual country or a territory by the UEFA Champions League? But
couldn't tell you. Other notable Europa League scores: Porto dumping Lazio out on aggregate 4-3 after a 2-2 draw today.
Mm-hmm.
Leipzig dumping Real Sociedad 5-3. And then Betis and Zenit draw 0-0, but Betis go through because they're 3-2 win in the previous leg.
I believe Sevilla advanced as well, did they not?
Yeah, they did.
Yes,
they lost 1-0 to Dinamo Zagreb, but it was still 3-2 on aggregate.
And they had a red card in the game, so they were on their heels.
A Sevilla-Barca final would be awesome.
For the ages.
Yep. That's what
I want something weird. Give me Braga and Real Betis in the final.
I want Rangers Leipzig, and I want Rangers to win it.
Actually, West Ham Barca would be fucking awesome.
Oh, that's true. West Ham are still in the Europa League,
Yeah,
aren't they?
it's just the other set of matches.
I think Marseille played in the Europa League today too, but they fucking murdered Quarbag. They could beat them 3-0, 6-1 on aggregate.
Oh, actually, no, I saw something about this. I have to read on the podcast. This is hilarious, actually. I need to figure out how to spell Guendouzi.
Guenduzi.
Okay, so this is from this is from Get French Football News, obviously the famous Twitter account. So Quarabag striker Ibrahima Waji on what Matteo Guendouzi said to him after he scored with his hand tonight, a goal that was eventually chalked off. Guendouzi said to me, "You are Muslim. If you don't tell the truth, God will punish you." I had to share that on the podcast. I saw that tweet earlier today and died laughing.
Speaking of things that I know it's off topic. Speaking of things players said on the pitch this past week, Zuma getting meowed at.
That's hilarious.
During
too. Craig Dawson.
Yeah.
That's so fucking
deserves it.
That's just hysterical though. That's like it's good banter. And that was European football with the main stand.
Yes, sir. Big one this weekend, boys. Carabao Cup Final. We all know it's a very prestigious, historic trophy that we got to put all of our time and effort into.
The Soda Cup.
Yeah, the Soda Cup. It's a big one though. I mean, we got to win. So
yep,
I take it very seriously.
Here.
Mitch, what's your take? The first question I want to ask you, Mitch. Who's your choice for goalie? Who starts?
Kelleher.
I think we know who's starting, but who do you want to start?
Kelleher.
Deserves it, or
I want the old Irish goat in net. He 100% deserves it. This has been his tournament. This is what both Pep and Jurgen have said. This is his tournament. He is in just as good a form as Alisson and has proved that he deserves to be between the posts in our games. And if that's taken away from him, I just think that's a knock to the confidence where he's literally been our keeper through this entire tournament. So I want to see Kelleher in that. Yeah.
I hope he goes out and balls. It's such a big opportunity against a big club and to write your name in like Liverpool folklore, even if it's that was a bit about the Carabao Cup thing, but it is a trophy at the end of the day, and to have a potential impact on that game as a backup, I think is really awesome. We saw how Adrian kind of did it with the Super Cup before the Premier League winning season. I think he kind of wrote himself into lore with that one a little bit. The benefit of this, Kelleher's a great penalty keeper. So if it did go to penalties, I am totally fine with Kelleher in net, and I think you would agree with that probably, Mitch.
He's been tested again throughout this tournament, and I don't think there's a question about it. Give Alisson a day off. He's been playing. We've played 5 in our last 8 or 9, or like it is what it feels like. More like 3 in our last week. I think just let Alisson take a day off. He's been working his ass off. His legs are tired from booting the ball upfield and getting all these assists. So just let the youngster get some minutes and prove himself. You can't let a player just sit and rot like Donny van de Beek.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The only other things really in contention for who's going to start for this, Jota looks like kind of a race to be fit. I think Klopp will probably go with a Jota, Salah, Mane front line. If Jota's not ready, I think he'll go with Diaz, because Bobby isn't a scratch for this already. He has been ruled out for this match, so it'll either be Jota or Diaz. It will affect kind of the order of the front three. I mean, they're just so versatile, it doesn't really matter.
I don't really want to see Jota start, especially coming off an injury. I don't necessarily think this is the game to test it in a cup final. Let him come off the bench, give him some time. But I would love to see the Diaz, Mane,
Yeah.
Salah front three that we just saw this weekend, or midweek. Um, I don't think it's a necessary addition to the starting lineup at all.
Yeah. And the last thing with the starting lineup, I'll give my midfield trio, and you can give yours after. This is the last thing
Yep.
to kind of talk about. Midfield trio, I would go with Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago. I think they've been the best three midfielders in the past recent weeks. I thought Henderson's been great every single time he's came on. I like Fabinho in the 6, and Thiago is the easiest one to pick for me. I think all the other midfielders, while in contention, probably haven't had the best few weeks in terms of consistency, and those are the three I'd ride with.
I 100% agree. I was gonna say the same thing. So
Perfect.
yeah, you can't deny the form that Thiago and Hendo have been in. Both of them kind of coming off the bench mostly in the last few weeks. So let them get the start, and then there's no question on Fabinho running the 6.
Yeah, exactly. And I have a bet for this one. I'm taking the Liverpool money line plus 140. Obviously, I'm riding with the boys in red. It's not going to be an easy game against Chelsea. I mean, they gave us 2 draws already this season. I just think Liverpool are in a little bit better form in front of goal. We all saw kind of Lukaku. Chelsea don't really have a great striker option right now either. They're getting a lot of their offense from the wings and midfield. And I think Liverpool's midfield that is on form is better, and I think they'll actually outrun them, which is a bold take, and that might come back to completely bite me in the ass. But that's what I'm riding with. We're going to go down to Anfield South and hopefully lift a trophy for the first time in a while. So I'm excited either way.
Absolutely.
But we'll get into the rest of the Premier League fixtures, kind of what else is going on this weekend. There's a few matches of interest here, and we can kind of breeze through these and talk about them kind of at our leisure. First one that's kind of significance just because of where Leeds are at, where Tottenham's at. Tottenham Leeds at Elland Road. This one has a lot of potential to be quite the exciting environment and definitely a lot of stakes for both of these managers. Who do you guys think has the edge here?
I don't. I think it's going to be a draw.
Yeah?
Terrible, so they're going to win 2-1.
Fair enough. I have the Tottenham money line minus 105. I think Conte is probably mad enough. Spurs have a decent record against Leeds. They've won 2 out of the 3 since Leeds have been back up in the Prem. But I think with any Leeds game, it can go kind of either way. We can shit on Leeds all we want, but they can put in a good performance.
Yeah, I think on like a serious note, Tottenham should win this game. This Leeds side's pretty bad, but this Tottenham side is in just like the weirdest fucking run of form of like any team
Yep.
at the top half of the table right now. So this game is confusing, and I don't know who's going to win it.
Yeah, it's a tough one to call either way. Next one, I think, is probably equally confusing. Not because Brentford have been great lately, but because Newcastle have been so hard. Brentford have actually been quite bad recently, but that Brentford have those goals in them and they can put in a good shift. Their game against Newcastle is definitely one to watch this weekend. Newcastle are unbeaten in their last 5. They played some hard teams too. Villa, Everton, West Ham, and they've hung right in there with all of them. Really looks like the culture's kind of starting to change. There's an environment growing around St. James Park. I have Newcastle, the draw no bet here, plus 110. I actually think they'll go to Brentford Community Stadium and probably get a win.
Yeah, I favor Newcastle in this one too.
They've been really exciting and honestly,
they look
like a fun team to watch, which is crazy.
They look like they kind of have it figured out a little bit. Eddie Howe's kind of starting to come into his own with that side and starting to get him to play how he is envisioning them, and their signings that they made are making an impact. Trippier has really impressed me since coming into the side.
Yeah, and Bruno hasn't even got that much time. He's been coming off the bench a couple games, but he really hasn't started too many matches, so I think this team can only go up, and we'll get into that later, in the next couple of months, but they're going to be really scary if they go out and buy some people in the summer.
Yep.
Brighton and Villa is the next one. Another weird little one because Villa looked so good a couple weeks ago, and now they've just had a run of form that's been shit. And they're kind of back to looking not good. So it's tough. Brighton have been kind of up and down. Traveling to Brighton is obviously a hard place to play at the Amex on the South Coast. Definitely some good fans. I think this one has a little bit of goals in it. I think Maupai could get a goal. We know Mings has a mistake in him. And Villa obviously have a loaded offense. So I have both teams to score on this, minus 130.
Yep, I like that one.
Yeah.
Solid bet.
And then Everton Man City. This is a big one for Pat, obviously. I don't really think there's much of a contest in this one, I'm going to be honest. I have Man City winning by 2, covering the minus 1.5 spread, minus 125 odds, and I have Mahrez as one of the scorers as well. A nice little prop to throw in there.
I sure hope so. Yeah, I'm confident in City this weekend. I don't think Everton are particularly amazing. We have a pretty good record against them as of late, if I'm not mistaken. And like I said, usually a City loss, the bounce back is generally impressive, and it means a lot of wins on the bounce. So,
yeah,
I'm torn here. I don't want to root for Everton in a game ever. And especially if they do steal points, that only hurts me when I say stupid shit like Everton are gonna get relegated. But in the title race, it comes down to rooting for the other side of Merseyside right now, and I don't see them stealing a point here, but I'm gonna be hoping and praying.
Yeah.
Okay, for what it's worth. I think you guys have one more game against United at the end of the season. I hope you kill them. Absolutely murder them.
I think that's fair.
Is that you fishing for good karma? Is that you fishing for good karma?
Nope, it's not. I hope you murder them. I would sit here and I would laugh my ass off if you scored goals against Man United. The last thing I want is to win a title because Man United helped. I want you to kill them.
That's fair. I think it's fine to root for your rival in situations. The one thing that's so funny about this Everton Man City game is there are actually people from the Dirty Ev rooting against the Toffees, which is absolutely hilarious that they are rooting against their own team because they don't want to see Liverpool win.
See, that makes sense. I could never see myself actually hoping Man United ever win a game. I didn't
say win. I said steal a point.
What?
I don't know.
I said I didn't say win. I said steal a point.
I don't want them to ever get any points. I want no positive results to ever come their way.
That's why I said they're getting relegated. Come on, man.
Well, it's fine, but you can't ask them to draw. A draw's 1 point gained for a team like Everton that you want to get relegated.
I know that's why I said it puts me in a tough position. I'm so torn. It's really eating me up inside.
No, I fully hope Everton win and take points off them.
Josh from the clouds.
I could give a fuck, honestly. I think it's weird to root against your own team. I'm fine with Everton. I hope Everton go out and win 5-0. Because if it means a title, that means the more we can fucking rub it in and say, hey, you helped us win this title, you dumb fucks.
Everton beat us 5-0, I won't be on the pod.
Pat would have to take another week of PTO.
Yeah, I'm putting in a couple weeks worth of PTO. I know that.
The last one of the weekend, West Ham Wolves. This is a big one for the top 4 race because they're kind of the outliers with Arsenal and Man United. I think this one's going to be fun. West Ham obviously hit the over on 2.5 today against Arsenal. West Ham have been a little bit lacking in offense lately, but I think this one has an over 2.5 written on it. Kind of probably not the result people would expect, but I'm going to ride with it. Plus 120 is pretty good value. And then I'm going to take the West Ham money line plus 110. I think this loss against Arsenal for Wolves could be a little bit of a gut punch for them. And I think West Ham will defend the London Stadium and get 3 points there.
Yeah.
I
like it.
Pretty straightforward.
I like it.
But that is it for Rick's picks. Mitch, do you want to take us away with the weather?
Do you want another beep in?
Absolutely. Hit me with it. Your resident meteorologist Mitchell here with the Fiorentina forecast. The Violas, just as I predicted, beat Atalanta 1-0. Said it would be a 1-goal game, and it went in the Purple People Eaters' favor. Huge 3 points. So with that win, Fiorentina are 2 points clear of their point total from all of last season. Massive milestone to reach that threshold and have, I don't know, like what, 10 games in hand left to do some more things. So
in
their hand for the rest of the season.
Like, man, like they have 10 games to play. Like,
no.
Fuck me, man.
No, 10 games in hand over last season. So up this weekend, the Violas take on 11th place Sassuolo. On Saturday, it's a 2:45 kickoff, so there's no excuses. You can be awake and watch this game. I've been getting up for the 6:30 games and watching them. I'll go get my coffee, come home, just sit, relax, and watch the boys in purple do work. I actually have watched a ton of Serie A.
Do you enjoy watching Lucas Torreira?
I do. He's our best player. Oh. He's been actually a lot of fun to watch and a saving grace with Dusan leaving. The first fixture this season ended in a 2-2 draw, and Sassuolo are 4-3-1 against Fiorentina in the last 8. So they do hold the advantage going into it, but they have been playing some uninspired football as of late. Fast forward to this weekend, shock 2-0 win over Inter. So they do have some steam coming. I think it's at Sassuolo, so the Violas are on the road. So the forecast for this weekend, partly cloudy with some sun poking through. The boys are getting results. They're getting points. They have a lot to look forward to and a lot of football left to play. I'm going to say this is going to be a 2-1 win for Fiorentina. I think they take 3 points in this one as well.
The Fiorentina bit really took a dive when Vlahovic left. It almost became like a pity because we know they're not getting top 6, which is unfortunate.
What do you mean? We're right there.
I think you guys are going to drop out pretty quickly. 10 games is a long time, man.
I want to see how many actual games we got left. Serie A, not a logistics company here, folks. 12 games left.
That's
13.
even longer.
13. We have a game.
13 games.
We have a game in hand. Still on Lazio. And let's look at this. Look at the second half here. We have Inter again, Napoli again, and Juve, Milan, and Roma. So it is a tough.
That's tough.
Test.
Sounds like you're
Milan, Roma, Juve in the last 4 weeks.
Half of your last game, half of your last few fixtures.
May is going to be a tough month, but we're not giving up hope yet. So, when do we play Lazio? We've already played our 2 matches against Lazio. So, it's gonna be all outside of the team we're chasing right now for top 6. So, it's gonna be exciting.
It was a very good update, Mitchell. We can only hope for the best for the Violets.
I'm good at my job. What can I say? I'm a good meteorologist.
Well, you're gonna get the weather prediction at the end of the year wrong, so
just like meteorologists, to be fair.
We'll see.
I think that wraps it up for the episode 28 for the Main Stand podcast. Unless you guys have any other pressing matters.
I don't.
I got nothing.
Okay.
We're a week away from our games at the MLS.
Correct. Yes.
So Pat gets to go now too, which is very exciting. So all 3 of us are going to be at an MLS game on the same day.
Yeah, home openers. Yeah, it should be
and the games are staggered too, so we can both post stuff without.
And I'm more excited because I'm going to be cooking. We have a group of 12 going down. So I'm going to be doing a lot of cooking. Pat can do the content. It takes some workload off of me, so I'm
going to be so drunk.
I was gonna say I'm probably gonna be on the piss all day.
Fine. Yeah, we all are. We're all celebrating. It's springtime. It's football. It's live football for us. It's exciting. So
Mitch, you're not staying down there after the game, right?
No.
Okay.
No, I have to. You're not staying down there?
Fuck no, I don't want to pay for a hotel room. I just want to get in the car with you and sleep in my bed, bro.
Bet.
We are a logistics
ironed that
company
out for
sorting
everybody.
plans on the pod. That's what
Love
we're
that.
here for.
Yeah, staying with the times, you know.
Also, I don't know if it's spring yet, Mitchell. It's supposed to be pretty cold next weekend, so.
Well, out in your neck of the woods, maybe. If it's cold, I'll wear my fucking Carhartt bibs. I don't care. I'm
I'll wear a
prepared.
t-shirt and ask you for your hoodie like I did the last time we went to a Revs
Yeah,
game.
no. Pat is severely underprepared. I'm severely overprepared. That's why we work so well together.
Exactly. It's like big friend, small friend. Mitch brings everything. I bring nothing. We make it work.
Right, and if he brought clothes for me to wear anyway, I wouldn't be able to fit into them. It's like perfect because like I can give him my hoodie and he's swimming in it, and then like he would give me his hoodie and I'd be able to fit a leg in it. So
it's like a pair of pants.
Right.
You're welcome. All right.
Half a pair of pants.
That was episode 28.
29 of the pilot.
Josh, remember what number you're putting in the graphic.
Yeah, okay, fair. That was a good comeback.
Figure it out, pal.
That was a good comeback.
Like we've mentioned, not a logistics company. Tune in, everybody. If you're on Spotify, make sure you rate it. If you're anywhere else, make sure you share the podcast with a friend. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, ding the notification bell. We will catch you guys next week.
Deuces.
Peace.